Hello and welcome back to A Journey to King's Cross, a Harry Potter book podcast. We are officially starting Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Cover art is, your basic run-of-the-mill cover. You can see the book in the left-hand corner of the actual image and stuff along those lines. Paperback as usual. We get a nice, wonderful picture of Buckbeak, Harry, Hermione, and the shadow of the evil Sirius Black, the true villain of the story.
Wait, where? Oh.
Right there. Silhouette.
Nah, it's Snape. There's a Dementor on the back of the book.
Yeah, because we got to have the nice wraparound cover and everything. And I think there's a dog in the background as well there.
So they have Sirius on their toys?
Apparently. Maybe that's the actual
Maybe it is
Grimm.
Snape then. Or it's Peter Pettigrew.
Nah. Grease. The hair is not greasy enough to be Snape.
It's too full to be Peter.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we start off with Chapter 1 with Owl Post, and the actual artwork for our opening is a trio of hardworking owls bringing in some actual posts towards poor Harry on his actual birthday.
Two of them are hardworking owls. One of them's being supported in the middle.
I mean, he's hardworking. It's just, he can't work as hard as he used to, okay? Don't give Errol too much grief.
I'm just saying that bird needs a retirement.
Also on the back cover, which we didn't gloss, or that we kind of glossed over, is that there's a picture of the Whomping Willow, and Crookshanks is underneath of it.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I thought that was the dog.
No, the dog's in the corner over here.
Oh, there's the dog in the corner.
Because if you look at the hardcover version, you get the full up of the dog.
Oh, okay. Because
we're looking at the paperback version, and
it looks like
see
a
the
rat.
head of the dog.
It looks like a rat.
But with the way that the body's curved under the tree, it's definitely a cat.
Oh, 100%.
Brandy, our resident vet tech, should have recognized that.
No, I was looking at the dog in the bottom corner. I was like, no, that's not a dog. That's a rat.
No, it's a dog.
No, 100%. That's a cat under the tree.
Yeah.
100%.
Anyway, back to the cover art.
Yeah, back to the chapter art in a sense.
I have to wonder how old Errol really is. Like, was he Molly or Arthur's wizard or owl?
I mean, that's an interesting question. We don't really get a whole lot of history when it comes to poor Errol.
Plus, how long do owls live?
About,
Don't! We will be one podcast member short if you finish that joke.
About 7 years.
No! You're done. Get out.
But apparently barn owls only have an average lifespan of 1.8 years. Oh.
Magic.
Captivity?
But they have been known how to live as long as 34 years. So I'm assuming that...
So 1.8 years is the average wild life age, and 34 is probably our captivity.
I mean, that checks out to a degree.
But a great horned owl can live up to 30 years in the wild, apparently. And in captivity, the oldest great horned owl was 50 years old.
Wow.
That's not
Owls,
bad.
Man. Living longer than our cats.
Yeah, can't say I'm too surprised on that department, considering basically an owl is just, bird hardware with cat software.
From what I hear, yeah. They're kind of... They look majestic and wise, but they're really big dorks.
Yeah, I think my wife lives with one of those.
Side note, baby owls, fucking terrifying.
Really?
You haven't seen how baby barn owls look like aliens? Sorry guys, we're really off topic today.
I mean, we're talking about owls. I don't think you can get any more Harry Potter than that.
Hey.
Huh.
They look like aliens.
Yeah, they kind of do.
Can confirm.
I mean, long list of things to actually happen and stuff. I suppose I could think of worse things to, worse ways to look. Starting off. Anyway, basically, this is kind of a short chapter, all things considered. We basically kind of catch up with Harry in his room in the middle of the night, going through his homework.
What a good kid, doing his homework.
Yeah, in the dead of night, basically.
And like we get some interesting tidbits about witch burnings, about how they weren't if they ever actually caught a witch, which they usually didn't. All they'd have to do is freeze the flames. And one witch enjoyed it so much that she did it, 34 times?
Something like that.
Wendell and the Weird. Yeah. Here it is. Wendell and the Weird enjoyed being burned so much that she allowed her to be caught no less than 47 times
47.
in various disguises.
Well, because it tickled.
I'm
oh my.
so very happy that she found the idea so amusing, all things considered.
Or arousing.
Oh my.
I think that's a tickling of a different sort. It's a good thing this is not a podcast for kids.
Obviously, if she liked it so much... Did you say obviously this isn't a podcast for kids?
Yes.
Day late and $1 short, dude.
I've been cursing on this on occasion.
That's what I mean. It's a little late to be calling a not kid-friendly book or podcast on book 3.
I'd like to think that we made that abundantly obvious, but okay, fair. Mental note, go back in time with a time turner and fix my mindset on this, I suppose.
Randy, you understand I'm just ribbing him, right?
Always.
And I'm taking it 100% serious in order to rib you back. Careful, she's learning.
He does mention, though, that Snape would just love that he failed his homework.
Give him a month's worth detention for not doing his... Oh, man, jeez. I gotta be honest with you. I never really... we had stuff we could do over the summer, but there was never a requirement because we had new teachers every year.
Yeah, I always wondered, hear about summer vacation homework. I'm like, how is that a thing?
Yeah, if you get approved for certain classes ahead of time, you would know that they give you your summer homework. It's, when I was in high school, I signed up for our AP English class, and because I did...
Which the AP was advanced placement, right?
Yep, advanced placement. Because of that, you know that you get it or not, pretty much, or that you get approved for it, which, granted, by the time you actually get your schedule, you might not have been approved for it, but typically you know ahead of time. They can give you the homework for the class. But that's advanced placement classes. And I think some schools give out homework as in generic summer homework, but I don't know if they actually grade it. Because, yeah, in U.S. schools, I don't know what the fuck teacher I'm going to have next year.
Ain't that the truth?
My school had enough people in it where it's you had at least 3 or 4 teachers for the same subject.
And most teachers usually only taught one grade.
Right.
Sorry. I'm throwing stitch markers on accident.
Oh, brother.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we do get a little bit of information about how Harry's capable of doing this, sneaking around behind his family's back in order to pick locks. Apparently, he learned that over the course.
Fred and George probably taught him.
Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Though it is kind of amusing and stuff that they're out front basically talking about the new company car in super loud voices. I'm just sort of like, man, these guys care way too much about what the rest of the world thinks, man. Oh, God. It must be exhausting to live their lives.
Right. Also, imagine bragging about a company car. Okay, so your company gives you a car to use. What does that it's not even your car. It's the company's car.
I'd always labored on the impression that Vernon owned the company, but I don't think it's ever officially stated that he owns the company, just that he was very high up in the company in question.
Yeah, he's very high up because obviously because he deals with getting contracts and everything and selling. But no, I don't think he doesn't own the company.
Weak sauce right there.
If he owned the company, then they wouldn't have needed to secure that deal to get a vacation home.
Yeah, he was probably getting a commission on that if he was capable. It must have been a really good commission.
Right. Too bad birds fucked it up.
Yeah, odd that it was the birds that screwed that up.
Well, they could have salvaged it, except for the bird.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to this book.
Anyway, we basically we go through everything. We get a little bit of detail about what's going on. We have the infamous phone call and everything.
Yes, now that we finally, gotten to it. I admit it, I was wrong.
About what?
Oh, when we had talked about this previously, about what book it happens in.
Oh, okay.
And I said, well, I guess we'll find out when we get there. And then I admit it, Mitch was right, I was wrong, it happened in book 3.
Oh, I'd completely forgotten about this. Alright, fair enough.
I mean,
Cool.
what? No,
I'll take
I was
it.
right the whole time.
I'll take that W, thank you very much.
Subtlety with these two idiots.
Look, man, he's always complaining that he never gets a win, so if he forgets about a win, I guess I'll take it.
I'm gonna put this in the history books. Is what I'm gonna do.
So then you can promptly forget where you put the history book?
Quiet you.
Look, Brandy, don't tell him that I took the book.
Hey, wait a minute!
You just outed yourself.
If anything happens and I end up in an insane asylum, we all know what happened.
You went crazy, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, yeah.
If you can't tell people, since this is a podcast, I'm giving Kimmy one hell of a side eye right now.
I don't know what he's talking about. Brandy, your husband's going crazy over here.
Yeah, what else is new?
Helpful.
Look, we've already talked. Once you're off, me and Brandy are gonna raise your kids together. It'll be fine. I'm moving in. We've talked about this.
Oh, man. Well, the way my job's working me right now, it might be sooner rather than later. Anyway, we do get the good news about her, Hedwig finally being let out of her cage and stuff. That I don't understand why Harry keeps his word on some of this stuff, though.
He's already shown to be a rebellious little shit. Just take it to the next level, kid.
Just, what? You gonna frickin' inspect the bird every single time it needs to go out or something along those lines? Like they'd want anything to do with Hedwig.
Right.
Right off, you're already breaking the rules by studying as it is. Go full ham. I don't know what it is about Harry and his word being his bond or something along those lines, but I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. It ain't the first time you've lied.
Person. He's a good person.
He has lied continuously out the course of the last book and everything, as it was. It's just weird that on these couple of occasions he didn't cross his fingers behind his back and be like, yeah, sure, no problem, I'll get right on that. Yeah, I have to admit, though, Harry, dude, buddy, pal, just tone down your nobility just a smidge and actually, live your life.
I mean, to be fair, he wouldn't, he could send, instead of a letter, he could send a postcard. There you go.
No, to be perfectly honest, he is a bit of a sasspot. I'm surprised he isn't also a smart ass on top of it.
He is. He gets there.
But the thing is, though, is that I don't get why none of his friends actually send him any post over the course of,
They're busy on vacation.
Yeah, they finally get around to it and everything, but you think that, the reason he didn't get letters last year was because of Dobby and everything. Is the house elf still working these over or something? It's one of those things where it's like, hey, he said Hedwig he couldn't send any letters with Hedwig. They didn't say anything about not sending letters back if he got any.
It's true. If any other
be another
owls.
Bird or something, you know what I mean? Yep. And it ain't like he's poor. He could easily afford to rent an owl or something along those lines. If Hermione is capable of figuring out a way to communicate with other people using somebody else's owls and stuff, I don't see how Harry can't do the same.
I didn't send any letters. I returned the letters they gave me.
With
some
their
added notes.
with their owl, I might add.
Or even if he did use Hedwig. He was like, I was returning their letters back.
I didn't want to be rude.
I just made some edits to the letter.
I did a return to sender.
Yeah, exactly. And a letter to let them know to continue, not to do it again in the future.
Also, he was so absorbed in his homework, he didn't even realize his birthday he'd been 13 years old for a whole hour.
Here's the thing, though. In the first book and everything, he's basically put to work as soon as he's, gets up and everything. And I know even it's more blatant in the movie as well. He isn't allowed to sleep in. So he's probably gotten up, had a full day of work of being worked like a dog by the Dursleys, and then he's got to go back in there, stay up late in order to get his homework taken care of, and then be woken up super early in the morning. Like, I could not... Oh, man. This kid's sleep schedule must be shit.
Look, man, he's still... It even says, though still rather small and skinny for his age. He probably only got to grow a few inches because he eats so good at Hogwarts.
To be honest, it is kind of amusing that both... You think both Harry and Ron would be very food aggressive in a sense.
Yeah.
Because Ron had brothers, older brothers, his entire life, so it always kind of makes sense that he's super.
And then Harry's like constantly starved.
Yeah.
Yes, but there's also that ingrained don't eat too much because I'll get beat. So also fear of eating.
Depends on the general nature.
To be perfectly honest,
Fair.
like, I feel like Harry would have eaten everything on his plate because it would have been rude not to finish your plate.
That's true.
It's just that I don't think the Dursleys fed him very well at all. So it's like one of those things.
Also true. To be fair, also, like, we can't have the main character eating like a pig, just scarfing it all down. He's got manners. He's polite.
I mean, you're not wrong on that front. I'm just, bringing up the fact that it's odd that in terms of, like, the neglected behavior of Harry and stuff along those lines, that he hasn't developed more unusual habits over the course of the series itself.
True. We also, I made the observation, so Hedwig perhaps returning him with a dead mouse dangling from her beak, expecting praise. And my first thought was, oh, she's trying to feed Harry because she knows he doesn't eat enough.
She's
like a cat. Because, like, why else would she bring the mouse back? Like, maybe she was trying to feed Harry and then she's like, oh yeah, they don't eat mice. My bad.
To be fair, I could easily see that in her own internal logic and everything, and Harry's just sort of like, yeah, I ain't eating that. I appreciate it, I really do appreciate it, but not really something I can eat and be okay with.
Side note, just thought of this. Why would Harry bring Hedwig home with him?
Why not just let her stay at the Owlery in Hogwarts?
Yeah, or like with the Weasleys, or like, or with Hermione or something, somewhere where he's like, yeah, I don't know if I can persuade.
I think it would kill him. It would hurt too much.
He needs the emotional.
Yeah,
connection.
but imagine if she had been trapped in the cage all summer, again, like.
Misery loves company? I don't frickin' know.
I'm just saying,
he does,
like...
in this book, he does eventually ask her to go stay over at Ron's house for a little, for a little while, as well. He does actually make that comment and stuff in like one of the later chapters when he gets the word about Aunt Marge being around and the requirement.
Oh yeah, he tells her you have to go.
Yeah. And it sounds like she isn't happy about leaving because he has to like convince her to go.
And then she doesn't go to the Weasley. She shows up at the Leaky Cauldron.
I don't know if that happened.
Or is that just a movie
That's
scene?
the movie thing. The very smart pud, Mr. Potter. She arrived just around the same time
before you did.
Yeah. That was in the movie. I don't remember that being.
Book.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. We're not that far away from it. But what else was there? Because that could be it, though. It could be that he just could not convince her to stay away, and so she ended up getting locked up because she was hanging around.
She's familiar now.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to tell Trevor to get the message. It's always getting lost from Neville.
Hedwig is his ride or die.
To be perfectly honest, is Trevor actually mentioned past like the second book?
I don't know.
I don't like. I'm now morbidly curious about the overall, like, how often... Because I don't think Errol actually gets any mentions after this book either, because Ron gets his own owl, and so he never has to borrow Errol ever again.
I think Errol's mentioned here or there. Yeah, because Errol doesn't like Pigwidgeon.
No, that's Hedwig.
She also doesn't like him.
No, she was very affronted by the fact that he was super excited about delivering the letter towards Harry in year 4 and everything, and was just standing up straight like a good trying to set a good example because she was super annoyed.
She just wants to smack him across the back of the head, like, get your shit together.
You're supposed to be professional.
Also, I realized it doesn't tell us how much that they won for the galleon draw. It just says, has won the annual grand prize galleon draw.
I could have sworn it was mentioned in Ron's letter, though.
He mentions how much they spent, I think.
Yeah, he said they spent 700 galleons.
Oh, no. Nope, they won 700 galleons. You're right. Mitch was right.
Oh, he's man, like, I'm 2 for 2 today. Jesus, that's awesome.
Dad won the daily profit draw, 700 galleons. Most of it's gone on the trip, but they're buying me a new wand.
Right, because you were looking up the conversion rate.
Right. So, also, it was less than $7,000. What's 7 times 7?
49?
7 times 7 is 49, right?
Hold on.
Sounds right.
Hey Siri, what's 7 times 7?
Yeah, it's 49.
So they won $4,900 in today's conversion rate. Roughly.
I'm not
and some change. But that's in American dollars. It's less in pounds. But like, damn. How expensive is this trip?
Oh, actually, you are correct.
Actually,
Errol actually does make a mention about like having to keep Pidwidge in his room because it annoyed Errol and Percy's owl. And apparently, it's also the last mention of Pidwidgeon of him, because there's the actual event brings up and stuff is that between August 1994 and April 2020, he passed away because Molly was using a different owl in order to deliver mail or something along those lines in 2020. So he is not mentioned again after 1994, basically. Errol, the actual owl.
Unfortunate. At least Ron apologized about the telephone call.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
I sometimes think they forget that the Dursleys are not necessarily very nice people. Or...
Like, honestly, Harry, you could have given him some pointers. Like, go with him for a trial run somewhere first before you leave King's Cross.
Mutant skeletons. Extra heads. How do you know that they actually have extra heads? Are they still attached?
Well, it's a skeleton, so I'm guessing you'd see the spine and the other skull.
But how do you know it didn't just get rolled over?
Or the extra cervical spine, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. Maybe the head grew on top of the other head.
Look, I don't know about you, but if you walked into a room and there was like double the amount of heads compared to bodies and stuff along those lines, you'd probably have to draw a conclusion or two.
Maybe the body was the tastier part. Something ate it.
Mm-hmm.
I like, and Percy was wearing a fez that he pinned his badge to. Like, dude, inconspicuous much.
Also, that's impressive considering I don't think it's that easy to pin something to a fez.
I mean, if you're determined enough.
Depends on how the pin is. If it's
like a hat pin, or it's like a straight pin,
or if it's one of the ones that have the little backing you take off, you can just punch it through and then not actually attach it if it's too thick, or just. I'm making a prediction about the sneakoscope. Depending on how many times we'll see it later, but I think Harry mentions he has to wrap it in a sock at Hogwarts. It's because Scabbers is always in the dormitory.
And someone's
and he's untrustworthy. Though I do find it funny that it was going off because Fred and George put beetles in the soup.
I have to admit, I'm sure that would have been a very... you'd think living with Fred and George, especially if you're an older sibling...
You would just be like, they're not trustworthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you also couldn't have it because it's like, they're always untrustworthy.
I wouldn't trust if I was anywhere near them, I wouldn't. I would be inspecting my food like I was being poisoned. I would be Mad-Eye Moody himself when it came to anything even remotely near me. Basically,
Look for the shit they did when they were like 5.
What are you talking about? I'd be on their side. I'd
you don't
prank
think
people
they
with
wouldn't
them.
pull? You don't think they wouldn't pull a fast one on you? You are just as much of a target, regardless of whether or not you're encouraging this
No,
nonsense.
because if they pull a fast one on me, I can pull a fast one back on them. They know better.
She's not wrong. But also,
I feel like you're overestimating your ability, but okay.
Well, if I was their sister, or if I was their friend at Hogwarts, obviously I'm a witch. So, yeah, I think it's justified.
That's why everybody keeps falling for their shit on a regular basis in Hogwarts.
They volunteer and get paid.
Not everybody.
Okay. You've seen politics in the 2020s.
Ugh.
You want to tell me that they're not going to fall for stuff again and again at Hogwarts?
It's true.
Anyway.
In book 5, they do say everyone is cautious about what they're eating.
Yeah.
And then turn around and stop doing that in book 6. But yeah, you never know if you're going to get a bit of nosebleed nougat.
To be fair, some of their stuff they actually get a hold of is intentionally to get people out of doing things they don't want to do. So it's one of those,
True.
like, you know. But, oh man.
And of course, Hermione has to give him a useful present. Can't just be a present to enjoy. It's got to be, you know. But it is something
right.
he did really like it, is because he gets the broom care and all the stuff for the handle polish and the twig clippers. Too bad he won't need it for very long. Spoilers.
It's all part of the process and everything. You gotta put your old broom away, and you gotta get yourself a nice grown-up one.
Also, I realized the Monster Book of Monsters that we all know and love, that's all nice and fluffy and all that, is wrong. Because this one is leather bound.
Like every other book, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's got it's green and leathery.
Huh. Alright, it looks like the last mention
He even says it's got a handsome green cover.
Yeah, it does not look like that in the movie at all.
At all.
This
Even
sounds
has
like a regular
eyes.
book, whereas the actual Monster Book of Monsters looks more like a monster than an actual book.
The only reason that this one is a monster book is because it scuttles around and tries to bite you.
Brandy
I got
actually
under
made
the
a
desk and I'm like, fuck it, leave it, let Petunia deal with it tomorrow. And then cackle. Who knows, maybe Dudley will come in there and get it.
Walks into the room, basically, the damn book. The book gets out of the bedroom and everything, and basically just terrorizes Privet Drive for the rest of its life.
Good thing they don't have a cat.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no, Petunia hates pets. There's no way. I'm surprised she let the owl in the house, to be
I'm
honest.
surprised she let Dudley have a turtle.
He had a turtle?
A tortoise.
A tortoise. Oh, well, he didn't ask for it. He traded it for something, I think.
All right.
Remember because he threw it through the greenhouse roof?
And we were like, well, that turtle's,
Dead.
yeah.
But of course we also get the Hogsmeade letter. He needs to get permission from Uncle Vernon somehow. Or Aunt Petunia. But, like, he could have forged it.
Come on, Harry. Like, this boggles my mind so much.
Why didn't he just forge the letter?
Right. Number one.
Who's gonna verify?
Right, because
they're not going to want
he's
anything.
Muggle-born, or they're Muggles. They're not going to have any. They're not going to want to have any signatures or anything to do with Hogwarts because
They would ignore any letter that came back
Yes.
from Hogwarts trying to verify that they got his signature.
and it's not a government mandated school, so it's not going to have any sort of like when we register our kids with our school, like they have like our ID and our signatures and
There's
whatever.
no
for a bunch
official
of
accountability.
Yeah, there's no official accountability. And, like, come on, Harry. I think I forged my dad's signature when I was, like, 13 to go on a field trip.
Wait, seriously?
Because
Yeah,
here's
because
the
I
thing.
talked about it with my parents, and I just kept forgetting to give them the paper, and I was like, date of, and I'm like, well, loop, 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 there's Perry McKenzie.
I think there's a TV show I was watching, or that I saw a clip of on TikTok. It's basically, you better start, you either ask for my signature, and you'll always have to, and if I forget, you're out of luck. Or you start by forging my signature, and then it'll always be my signature because it's yours. Harry should have just always been forging signatures.
To be honest, though, there is a kid that actually mentions it after the fact when he goes and talks to McGonagall about potentially getting through and everything. And I'm just sort of like...
Yeah, he says
I don't
he
understand.
could forge it.
Yeah, there was a kid that actually offered to do it and everything.
But he had already confessed to McGonagall that they didn't get it signed.
Yeah.
Day late and $1 short, kid.
God, this is the same. This is why Harry is also freaking took the Ford to Hogwarts.
To be perfectly honest, Harry is not the brightest bulb in the
He doesn't have a sneaky bone.
I think someone made it
I don't know.
wise!
Let me rephrase that. He doesn't have a sneaky bone when it's for himself.
If he's doing this for the greater good,
I'm
he could
giving
be
her eyes.
Okay,
Because
except for
he snuck down to the whatever cupboard they had his stuff in and picked the lock while they were outside.
it's for school. It's for academics. It doesn't count. It's not for pure selfish gain. The only time we see that is later when Fred and George give him a passage out of the castle. And again, I can't just let their effort of telling me this go to waste.
He's got to justify it to
Somebody
himself
else has to be
so much.
sneaky for him. Or it
Pressure.
has to be for a good reason. He'll never just be sneaky just for himself.
Yeah, I'm just amused by the whole situation and everything.
And again, come on. What kind of bad kid sneaks around to get his homework? Like, come on, Brandy.
But like, I laughed internally while we were listening to this because we were talking about forging the signature, and you had said, well, he's a good kid, and I'm just like, I was a good kid, and I forged my dad's signature.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I've never forged a parent's signature, ever.
It wasn't even like I did it for a, like, overnight field trip or anything. It was a day trip.
That's
So it's
valid.
like...
Well, yeah, because overnight field trips require money, so...
Yeah, this was we're going to the farm down the road or some shit. I don't even remember.
Like, we're gonna go learn how they milk cows. Let's go.
Yeah, it was like a day
Hi,
trip,
Nimbus.
field trip. So...
I haven't seen you in a while. Hi. Because I haven't been over in a while.
Yeah, that's
Whose
your own
fault
fault.
is that? Yeah.
Cameron.
Oh man, me and
It's
my
not
wife
my
are
fault I
giving-
slipped and fell.
Alright, you got us there.
I was
Details.
gonna come over and Mitch is like, no, stay home and rest. I'm like, okay.
To be fair, my wife wasn't going to be there that day, and I would have had my hands full with the kids. So unless you wanted to come over here and basically be a parent while your husband
That
was
was what I was
pregnant,
gonna do, and you're like,
I
don't come
couldn't
over.
do that to you. Jeez.
You can't do it to me if I offer.
If you are bloody freaking injured and everything. If you were 100%, I would have been a little bit more okay.
That's
with
fair.
it.
Your kids would have wanted me to swing them around, and I couldn't do that with my foot how it was.
Yeah. My kids are
But,
rambunctious monkeys.
I think we're running out of podcast.
Yeah.
And we're running out of subject, to be perfectly honest. This wasn't exactly the most interesting chapter.
It's an opener.
It's re-informing everybody who Harry is, his backstory,
His
history, family life, all that other fun stuff, and what makes him unique and special. I think this is like the third book in a row, like third book so far. Basically, we get a nice little backstory explanation for why his scar is so interesting
And not
and
the
unique.
car crash he was told about his entire life.
A car crash. A
Kill
car
Lily,
crash
kill
killed
Lily
Lily
and
James
James
Potter.
Potter.
You must be mad. I was thinking, I was like, man, I remember being so confused. I'm like, who's Killian and James?
Oh man.
But, Anyway, if you guys want to find more of my content, you can find me on social media at Luna's Creation Corner.
I am on YouTube under Brandywine Stitches, or the rest of the socials at Hockeytown Candle Co.
I am Cole Sanders, Coal Sanders, on Twitch and everything. I play video games for about an hour or so on Monday and Wednesdays and stuff, so feel free to join me there. I have been playing a little bit more actively and stuff along those lines. Mostly I play single-player stories, but some friends of mine drag me into the multiplayer stuff on occasion. Anyway, that's pretty much everything for today. We will see you next time, and just make sure you keep your wands at the ready.
But like, comment, and subscribe.
Because
Bye.
apparently that's very important to do. Bye.